boys and girls, children of all ages. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Good morning, Upstate South Carolina. Hello, America. What's up, world? Great to be with you again. Let's rock and roll, my friends. I am Rob Brown. Great to be with you on a Thursday morning, a beautiful one around the Upstate. Directly across from me, in charge of all the simple machinery needed to keep us sounding as seductively as we do.
You started to say keep us sadistic.
Yeah.
To keep us sadistic. Yeah.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, I'll do that.
That keeps us as seductively sounding as we do. He is the professor of perfection, the wizard of wave. He is Colonel Grudge, #DadKicks, the alpha and the omega of the Fan Upstate, the great one, Lonzo, in charge of the board and everything else coming through your radio speakers today. What up, Zoe?
How you doing, baby? Hey.
See, I told you. I don't
I got
know
what you need right over here. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if you watched the match or any of it yesterday.
I watched most of it.
And?
I'm fighting a 3-day headache, so I was medicated a little bit, so I drifted out at some point.
Let's see. We did the show Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You're fighting a 3-day headache.
So
Sorry about that.
This should be the end of it today, I think. So I don't know. Yeah, I did watch the majority of it.
And what'd you think?
I've not golfed a lot, but I think there are times that I could have done better and probably wouldn't have hit the crowd. I've never seen the crowd in so much disarray at any event, and I think they made a mistake putting all football players on there. Because if you tuned in for the golf, you made a mistake. If you tuned in they made some decent shots, but if you tuned in for the entertainment value, you also might have made a mistake.
Really?
Not as much as I thought there would be.
I found it entertaining as hell, to be honest with you.
Is it better than the ones that came before it?
I would have said yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd have said yes, and here's why I'll tell you yes.
Does any of them talk stuff better than Phil?
Phil didn't ever really talk stuff.
He did leading up to things.
Phil was just a corny dad. And don't get me wrong, dad comedy is one of my favorite types of comedy. Phil was just kind of everybody's corny dad, right? These guys, I think the reason I found it so entertaining was because they were trying to talk smack and be funny while they were sucking at golf. And that made it infinitely more relatable.
Let's face it. If Josh Allen was replaced with anybody who could actually play golf, Patrick Mahomes would have won that whole thing.
Dude, Tom Brady's a really good golfer.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes would have won that whole thing. He carried that team.
Yeah,
He got them ahead. Josh Allen was bad. He's already apologizing.
He said, Patrick, is your back okay after carrying the team? My bad, big guy. Because Josh Allen was no bueno. But again, the working assumption that Mahomes beats Brady in golf, I don't think is a correct one.
Well, first of all, you're forgetting that it's a team thing.
Yes,
I said if he had someone who could play with him better.
You. Okay. All right.
Automatically, you're like sticking up for your boy. You know, Tom Brady isn't the only reason why they won. Aaron Rodgers was playing pretty well, too.
A-Rod knocked down about an 11.5-foot birdie putt on 18 to claim the dub. And I'll tell you right now, the only place I make money on the golf course is with the putter, right? The only place. I got a good drive. I got nothing between driver and putter, all right? If I am anywhere but on the tee box and on the green, I'm garbage. I missed that putt 8 out of 10 times. A-Rod just stepped up and gutted it.
I just want to say this, and I've never seen you golf. I've never seen Diesel golf. But if you and Diesel were on that course, you would have destroyed them.
Not a chance.
Oh,
not a chance.
So you're saying you guys golf that bad
Diesel,
that you go into the crowd that much?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, now what needs to happen is I need to take Lonzo golfing so that you can see they're actually pretty damn good golfers.
See, first of all, you're acting like I can't watch a sport and observe and see what's good and what's not. And second of all, you act like I haven't played enough to understand the game, which you might be right. I will say when I did play, I did all right for a 400-pound guy when I was 400 pounds. It's harder to swing the club when you got when things keep swinging after you swing.
So I get it. Here's the thing. If you watch those guys play golf and think those guys, all four of them, show up and beat the majority of guys at any given golf course around here on any given day. All four of them show up and beat any given guy on any given course in the upstate any given day.
Only one guy on that course really wanted to win, and he didn't. Only one guy really wanted to win, and that was Patrick Mahomes. As goofy as he was acting in the cart and all that stuff, he wanted to win. Everybody else was being, well, Josh Allen is like, why did I sign up for this? And Aaron Rodgers is just being cool, and Tom, whatever his name is just being stupid.
Do you have the audio folder pulled up?
I do.
Can you play me clip 1C, please? Can you play me clip 1C, and let's see if Patrick Mahomes was the only guy who wanted to win. This is one of the first things that we heard Tom Brady say to Aaron Rodgers when they got onto the golf course.
All right. Did you take care of it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So I just want to make sure that's on digital before I hit the button.
Yep. You're good.
Watch, baby. Let's go.
There we go. We're into it. We're into it early, Ernie. Hot and heavy.
Not a ball in the air yet.
A ball in the air and an F-bomb's already.
Hey, I love that.
Wow, I cursed. That means I'm really excited to be here.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you. Yeah, I'm a friendly smack talker when I play golf with the boys, right? I suck. I know it, but I'm a friendly smack talker. If I say to the guy in my cart, let's go bleep them up, I'm coming to win, buddy.
Well, I expect you to say that in everything you do, including the radio show.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, so that's
100%. The only person I won't say that to is Zoe. I have said comments like that to the boss, right? We've been places broadcasting where the competition is also there. And the boss is like, hey, man, go there and put on a show. You're in the same place with the same resources.
All right,
Go put on a show to convince everybody why we are the station. And my response would be, yeah, let's go bleep them up. Because I'm coming for blood, Zoe.
Being argumentative or debating is not in my nature. So me saying this is I'm not trying to start anything, but I don't understand your competition thing you just said because there isn't any.
Okay. Dude, it's you and it's me. Everything's a competition.
When we the ones. When we the ones, everybody else is two.
Recognize. You know why? We're the one. You know why? We're the 2001 South Carolina Broadcasters Association Sports Talk Radio Show of the Year. Because you could put us up against anybody. You can put us up against Rome. I want to be better than Rome. Rome helps carry my station. I still want to be better than Rome. I want to be better than Mark. Mark wants to be better than me. I want to be better than DA. DA wants to be better than me. You can put me up against Goliath. You can put me up against nobody. I want to win, right? If you think for a heartbeat that Thomas Brady didn't step onto that golf course yesterday coming for a dub. I'm not saying he can't have fun when he's doing it. You and I want to have the number one sports talk show, not in the market. We want to have the number one sports talk show in the state. Again, and you better believe we still show up and we have a damn good time doing the show.
Brady was doing what he was supposed to do. He's playing to the cameras, but he didn't get serious till Mahomes went ahead of him. I'm not going to put Josh Allen in there because he didn't really help. When Mahomes went ahead of him, then suddenly they had to get serious because they were in danger of losing, and they never thought that was a possibility. You could tell neither one of them, he or Aaron Rodgers, thought that there was a problem. They thought they'd get on there and they'd skate through the whole thing, and then suddenly they were looking up at the leader and they had to do something.
So it comes down to Brady bad, Mahomes good, thus saith the Zoe.
Almost wore my Chiefs gear today.
We're going to talk about the match a little bit more in depth later on in the show because it was, again, extremely entertaining. Give me sports things that are different than everything else. That's not to say I don't want my traditional sports. That's not to say I don't want old school basketball games and football games and baseball games and soccer matches. I do, but also give me entertainment mixed into all of it. And the match brought it. The match brought it. Do me a favor, since you have the audio open, and I'm just gonna play this clip, and then we're gonna move on. Chuck Barkley talking to Josh Allen in the exchange that let me know I was right where I needed to be in front of the TV for the match. Just clip one. Chuck Barkley opening it up to Josh Allen. Josh Allen did have a couple of really good shots off the tee box, and Chuck decided he needed to let him know about it by saying this.
I play real fast, Chuck.
Yeah, I like that, Josh. You can sling that thing too, boy. It's a pleasure to watch you throw that thing. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Come on now.
Chuck said, "You can really sling that thing, boy." And Josh went, "What?" Because Josh Allen was every Rob Brown and Chris Evans in America. And if you make a statement that has even 0.01% innuendo, the door is open for a "that's what she said" joke, and we're all going to walk through it. And Josh Allen went, "What?" Which was spectacular.
I don't know. I think he legitimately just didn't get it.
Oh, no. I think he absolutely got the innuendo from
Did
Chuck
he
there.
look like he had a clue what was going on the entire night? You're giving him way too much credit. He knew he was in over his head. He wanted to be anywhere but where he was, and he knew everyone was watching him.
I have figured it out. Josh Allen is Patrick Mahomes' AFC competition now, so Lonzo has got to step all over him. I figured it out. That's got to be it.
I don't know what you're talking about. Josh Allen was lost. Anyone who watched that thing knows he was lost. He didn't talk that much. He was really trying hard, and he just couldn't do it. That's anyone who's in over their head and said, "Yeah, I'll do it. And they get out there like, "Oh crap, I have to do this now." And there are more people watching me now than probably ever. And you can mention the Bills Mafia. That was his thing. Yeah, Bills Mafia. Yeah, Bills Mafia, because he had nothing.
So here's how that felt to me for Josh Allen. Two things happen here. Number one, Josh Allen had a massive problem in that he was put in an environment where he was expected to be entertaining with three of the most charismatic dudes in the game. Josh Allen is...
See, that's never happened to you before. It's happened to me. I have no charisma over here at all. I mean, zero.
Yeah,
and stuck in a room with all these... It's like being when we used to have full staff meetings, and you get the big stars that are at all the stations, and they're making comments and everything, and you really want to say something, but you know that you cannot compete, so you just sit back and listen and enjoy. That's what Josh should have done, even though he was being paid, or I guess... or were they doing it for charity? Maybe they weren't getting paid. But still, he probably should have just been quiet. And next time, there won't be a next time. He will not be invited back. He will not be.
Look, it's real simple. Josh Allen was out there on a golf course with three of the most charismatic guys to do it. I don't particularly care how you feel about Aaron Rodgers socially or politically. The guy is charismatic. I don't care how you feel about Tom Brady. Tampa Bay Tom Brady is extremely charismatic, and I don't care how you feel about Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is extremely charismatic. And then there's Josh Allen, who's a regular dude, entertaining, funny.
Hey, man, throw Baker
But-
Mayfield in there. Bring Gardner Minshew. I know he's not a starter, but he could have held his own.
Gardner out there would be a
Yeah,
riot.
that's-
Gardner would be the guy that showed up in overalls with no shirt under it to golf.
The whole point is entertainment value, all right? And Josh Allen is a really good quarterback, could be a great quarterback.
Yeah, love him.
Should not have been there.
Love him.
Should not have been there last
He
night.
was. Here's the thing. Who's the other quarterback you put out there? Like, if you need a fourth guy to complete
Well, I guess
the
maybe
charisma quad.
Maybe the guy in Cincinnati doesn't play golf. I don't know.
Joey
maybe,
B. Okay,
maybe
see,
not.
Joey B.
He would bring a kind of arrogance in there that would
Right.
make that other team so
Right.
mad, and it
Joey
would be great.
B is arrogant, and he's funny in his arrogance when he's coming off a dub. I don't think he has engaged with Chuck Barkley comedy chops, right? That's the thing. Patrick
Hey,
and
you know
Aaron
what?
and Brady could all go back and forth with
Ralph.
Chuck, and it was funny.
Neither did Josh Allen.
Right, but I'm saying he was your best bet, I think. He was your best bet. I don't know who else. Justin Herbert is a sack of wet potatoes, right? Amazing QB. There's no charisma there. Jameis Winston brings too much controversy. He is a entertaining guy, but he's got too much controversy off the field to have put him in there, right? I'm going through the other 28 starting QBs in the league, trying to think of who would have been the charismatic guy to complete the quad. There's not, and by the way, also is known as a golfer. Because listen, I've said this a couple of times. As somebody who golfs very poorly, but golfs, right? I have played in years past. I have played in like local celebrity pro-ams. And if anybody's putting one on around here, I'm always happy to come play in it. If you do a celebrity charity pro-am, call me. I will come play in it, right? In fact, we were coming back from the race on Sunday, and we passed a billboard for the BMW Celebrity Pro-Am. And I told Joe and Chris in the car, I said, one of my goals in the upstate, one of my goals is to get big enough here and big enough in the state and hopefully big enough nationally that I can justify and be invited to play in the BMW Celebrity Pro-Am. Except for, I have been to the BMW Celebrity Pro-Am, and I have watched the celebrities that have Pro-Am'd, and most of them are good damn golfers. And if you put me out there, am I behind shooting a 92 when some of these other guys are shooting 82 and 80? I'm going to look ridiculous, right? So you can't just grab a random dude. You got to have a Captain Charisma to throw out there.
You know who they should have had? And I know he's not a quarterback. I know he doesn't play anymore. Put Pat McAfee out there. That would have been the show.
Keegan said, are you the celebrity or the charity? See, this is why I don't have friends.
The answer would be yes.
The answer is correct.
Because you can be both.
All right.
Ask Johnny Depp.
I got more clips coming up from that event, including Patrick Mahomes saying that Josh Allen's biggest fear is a coin flip. What an absolute line from Patty Mahomes. So we'll talk about that. Trey Davis said, did you see that David Tepper's real estate company filed for bankruptcy? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And that, of course, means the end of the Panthers having a South Carolina HQ, at least in Rock Hill. So we're going to talk about that coming up a little bit later in the show. We are going to talk about the Team USA soccer match from last night. 3-0 winners over Morocco. Christian Pulisic looked like a wizard. And more. I got some soccer stuff coming up for you later on in the show. And Josh Donaldson. Remember him from last week? The guy that called a black guy another black guy's name in a very derogatory way? He's upset that his teammates didn't come to his defense. LOL. We're going to break that down. And John Gruden. One more aspect that came out about his lawsuit that I find very, very interesting. And it might mean bad things for the National Football League and Roger Goodell. This lawsuit, based on something that I learned last night that I did not know until last night, suddenly looks a lot worse for Roger Goodell. I'll tell you what that is coming up later on in the show. It is going to be busy. I hope you'll stick with us. The phone lines are open. 844-FAN-PHONE, 844-FAN-FONE. You can call us, 844-326-3663. You can text us on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. We'll read them on the air. We are back after this. Rob Lonzo and you. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is the Fan Upstate.
Prisma.
Let me tell you about our friends at Prisma Health, ladies and gentlemen. If you find yourself in a position, especially if you are an athlete, if you find yourself in a position where you have a physical and sports-related injury, if you find yourself in a position where you have turned an ankle or conked your noggin or whatever it might be, and you are in need of medical attention, and you need somebody who knows sports medicine, then you need to get in touch with our friends at Prisma Health right here in the upstate, because they have the most advanced, sophisticated, knowledgeable, and state-of-the-art sports medicine department that you will find anywhere. How do I know that? Well, it is because of the fact that both the Gamecocks of South Carolina and the Tigers of Clemson use Prisma Health. And if they use Prisma Health to take care of their athletes when they have a sports-related injury, don't you think they can take care of you as well? Of course they can. So check them out online at prismahealth.org. Prismahealth.org. You can get yourself set up with an appointment. Look through their hundreds and hundreds of healthcare professionals to find the one that's right for you. Get yourself taken care of the best you can with our friends at Prisma Health. Prismahealth.org. It's Prisma Health right here in the upstate. Excuse me, stream. BRB.
I find it real funny that people get appalled and upset if you say anything derogatory about Tom Brady. Come on. I don't know. I'd be interested, Tayshawn. Tayshawn asked about the Johnny Depp case. You know, I've watched bits and pieces of it when people would throw up clips. Was interested to see how it would play out. The fact that he won, I think he won every suit, and then Amber Heard won another one. Will this affect him going forward? Will he start getting roles? Because once you're canceled, do you stay canceled? I don't know. We'll find out. I love that people think that a petition can cause people to remove someone from a movie, though, as far as Amber Heard goes. That movie's done. I think they're in the adding all the CGI phase now, so I guess they could, like, cover her with somebody else, but, you know, probably not. Will that affect the sales of the movie, though? Will the disdain for Amber Heard now outweigh how cool Jason Momoa is?
They took her as much out of Aquaman 2 as they could.
That's what they say. Until we actually see the movie,
Yeah,
you know.
It's not like you can refilm it.
That's what I was saying. Well, you could replace her like with a fish.
With the fish?
It's Aquaman. I mean, put a dolphin in there.
Ladies and gentlemen, join us on our live stream. We live stream every single show. Join us for our live stream by going to facebook.com/thefanupstate or going to YouTube, searching The Rob Brown Show, and you can come behind the scenes, chat with Lonzo, me, and a cast of characters from the Rob Brown Armada by going to YouTube, searching The Rob Brown Show, or going to facebook.com/thefanupstate. We were talking about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard stuff off the air. Primarily, Lonzo asked the question, with Amber Heard losing the majority of that suit and owing Johnny Depp, what is it, like 13 mil now?
I think it's 10 million.
Whatever it is. It's a lot of millions.
Yes, it is. It's stuff that we'll never see.
Yeah. It's a lot of $1 million. And again, I don't think Johnny Depp really cared about the money so much as Johnny Depp cared about his character and his reputation. Because remember, Johnny Depp lost a lot of work when these allegations started coming out against him.
Including 2 really big franchises.
Yeah, including the Harry Potter franchise.
Right.
And Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Captain Jack Sparrow has been an iconic role for a decade and a half now, right? And he lost them both. So I don't think he so much cared about the money, because I suspect Johnny Depp ain't hurting for scratch. But Lonzo said, or asked, I should say, will the disdain for Amber Heard outweigh the love for Jason Momoa and damage Aquaman 2? To which I said, well, I believe that they have gotten rid of Amber Heard from as much of that movie as they can get away with getting out of. There's obviously going to be some scenes in there that you can't get rid of her because she's a plot point for the movie. And I said, and at the end of the day, you can't go back and film it. It's a massive movie with a metric buttload of scenes and CGI. You can't go back and replace her. And Lonzo said, I don't know, you could replace her with a fish. Imagine being a Hollywood actress and having your entire representation in the movie being CGI'd out for a talking fish. I would be in for it.
Yeah, I kind of want to see that now.
Also, by the way, while I'm right here in this spot, who the hell asked for Avatar 2? Did anybody ask for Avatar 2?
Oh, they're filming like 3 of them.
4 of them.
I never saw the first one just because I didn't.
It was Fern Gully. Do you remember Fern Gully?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we all had to watch. How many times do you think you watched Fern Gully in school?
I never.
1,000?
I never watched it in school, but I actually I showed it to my kids, if I recall.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. Well, your children are slightly younger than me.
Just a little bit.
Slightly younger than me.
All right, 7 or 8 years, but still
Slightly.
That's slightly, yeah.
So they're right in the wheelhouse for when Fern Gully was big. Avatar was just Fern Gully with blue cats. It's the exact same story. They replaced a logging company with the colonizing military. They replaced the forest with unobtainium. Little on the nose, don't you think, James Cameron? Unobtainium.
It's very early Marvel Comics.
It is. And you replace the smoke monster with missiles, right? You were Robin Williams playing a talking bat with radio interference away from being Fern Gully again. And now they're like, 3 more ought to be good. Let's take the blue cats out of the sky on flying things and put them into the water on swimming things. And then make the same movie again. Stop. Come on, Hollywood.
Look at
Come
you.
on.
It's not even Friday.
Yeah, I'm on a heater today, man. All right, couple more things I wanted to get into in the sports side of things here on the show. Josh Donaldson. For those of you that did not follow the story on the show last week, Josh Donaldson is a player for the New York Yankees. Josh Donaldson got into a scrap with the entire Chicago White Sox organization in a game about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. Josh Donaldson got into a scrap with members of the Chicago White Sox because Josh Donaldson referred to Tim Anderson as Jackie. Now, I was calling him Jackie because at one point, Tim Anderson did an interview, and there's a lot of context that was lost in the conversation, but did an interview in which he said, I'm trying to bring fun back to the game, mentioned that he was getting a lot of heat because he was trying to have fun while playing the game, and said, while I understand that I am nowhere near the type of battle that Jackie Robinson was involved in, I feel a little bit like it because people have said awful things about Tim Anderson because Tim Anderson does not play baseball like it's the 1930s, and that's what old baseball fans want. A suit and tie business approach to ball. And it ain't TA. So after a hard tag on TA by Josh Donaldson a couple of weeks back, which almost started a fight that day, TA and Josh got into it again, and Josh called him Jackie. Well, TA didn't take too kindly to that. Said, got into a scrap. Well, then, Yasmina Grandal, the catcher for the Yankees, said something to Josh Donaldson during a White Sox-Yankees game. Josh got into his grill, and the two sides went. Grandal had to be brought back to the dugout. TA had to be chaperoned off the field by like 9 of his teammates because he was about to give Josh Donaldson the smoke. And it was just chaos. Well, then Josh Donaldson came out. Tony La Russa said, it's racist. That was a racist comment. It was unnecessary. TA got asked, do you agree with La Russa? TA said, yep, sure do. Sure do. No, I came on the show the next day, and I said, all right, let's hold up. Let's not call Josh Donaldson racist yet, right? Let's not start throwing that label around because Josh Donaldson said, I've called him that in the past. There was never a problem with it until now. So I said, let's hear him out. Because if that is true, if he has called TA that in the past, if he has called TA that in the past and it hasn't been a problem and TA's never said anything to him, then I'm going to let it go. I'm not going to get all up in my feelings about it because if TA thought it was a problem, TA should have said something about it before that, but he didn't. Well, then TA came out and said, no, that's a lie, man. That's a lie. He's never called me Jackie before. Scratch that. He called me Jackie one time. One time in the past. And I told him, no, don't call me that. If you're going to call me that, we got nothing to talk about. Don't call me Jackie. And Josh did it again. I said on the show at that point, it's easy when you are in a scrap with somebody. It's easy to comment on their appearance. It's easy to go, hey, fat guy or short guy or whatever. But if your first reaction is to call a dude a name regarding his skin color, yeah, it's not a great look. Well, to the shock of absolutely no one, no Yankees, 0 Yankees came out and said nothing about it. In fact, Aaron Boone, the Yankees manager, said, quote, "This is just my opinion. That's somewhere he should not be going," end quote. New York star Aaron Judge said, quote, "I just don't think it's the right thing to do there," end quote. So not only did the Yanks not have Josh Donaldson's bat, but the two biggest Yanks of all, the manager and the best player on the team, Aaron Judge, both came out and said, nah, bro, Not cool. Not a great look. We're not signing off on that. We're not down on that. Not happening. Well, Josh Donaldson said during BP yesterday, and I quote directly, I think that was tough to hear for sure, just for the simple fact that I pride myself on being a good teammate. And everywhere I've went, every organization that I've been a part of, minus Oakland, has offered me extensions, has wanted me to stay. They've showed me that they wanted me to be a part of their team. Obviously, it didn't work out that way, and that's just the business end of it. And also, everywhere I went, I've won. I think part of winning is having good team chemistry, and I've taken pride everywhere I've went. I've always tried to help people try to get better, end quote. Josh. And I feel that I've got a little bit of ground to stand on in this conversation that not a lot of other hosts in my position do, right? In that, I host a show with a former Major League Baseball player who's been out of the game not that long, with a former Major League Baseball who gets text from current Major League Baseball players while we're doing our show together. Cody Decker, who, by the way, will be joining us at 10:30 today. We'll talk to Cody Decker, who is my host, my co-host on Bet for the Cycle on BetQL app, the Odyssey app, and on phenomenal Odyssey stations nationwide on Saturdays from 1 to 5 Eastern. Cody Decker will join us at 10:30, and we'll ask him about this. But Cody will get text from players in-game. He and Lucas Giolito have talked about our show before, right? And Cody said on the air Saturday, so I'm not spilling any beans here. Cody said on the show Saturday, nobody likes this guy. He's a punk. He's a boathead. He's all kinds of stuff. Josh, nobody stuck up for you because what you said and how you said it wasn't cool, my guy. Again, I was probably one of a small amount of people who the day after it happened defended Josh Donaldson and said, hold up, let's hear him out, right? Let's not call him racist yet. Let's not call him that. There were a lot of people who right after it happened were like, oh, Josh Donaldson's a racist. Well, hold on. Let's hear this thing out. He said, I have been calling him that for years, and it's never been a problem until now, and now I don't know why it is a problem. And then he came out the next day, did TA, and was like, yeah, no, that's not true. That's not true. He called me that once a number of years ago. I told him, don't do it again. I've had no reason to talk to him since then. I haven't talked to him since then. Then he laid a hard tag on me and called me Jackie right after that. Not cool, man. TA said it's not cool. His teammates said it's not cool. I got to tell you, I don't feel like I'm on any shaky ground here when Josh Donaldson's own manager and when his own teammate, by the way, the biggest name in the game, Aaron Judge, also comes out and says, no, not all right. So to hear Josh Donaldson come out and make himself the victim here is pretty hilarious. Quote, I think everybody wanted to have a say, but they don't know my heart. I do feel bad that the Robinson family, I never wanted them to feel their name should ever be regarded in a bad light. That was why I issued the apology, end quote. He went on to say that his name calling was, quote, misinterpreted, end quote. And then went on to say, quote, I think when it comes down to it over the last couple of years, there's been animosity from their team towards me, and I don't really have a problem with their team. I think there's some stuff that was in question from last year, end quote. Dude, you straight up called Lucas Giolito a White Sox pitcher. You straight up called him a cheater last year. You straight up called him a cheater last year. And then after you called him a cheater, and he confronted you about it, you chased my guy down into the parking lot to have words with him. And let's be honest, Lonzo, it hasn't really ever happened to me, But if a guy follows you into the parking lot and says, say something, that guy wants to go, right? That guy wants to fight. So you called their best pitcher a cheater. You followed him to the parking lot of a baseball field after a baseball game and asked him if he wanted to go effectively. And you can't imagine why they have problems with you. You can't fathom why they might not like you. You can't put that together. That 2 and 2 doesn't add up to you. And then when your own team, your own manager, right? If there is one guy in baseball that is supposed to have your back, it's your manager, it's your coach, it's your boss. The one guy who is supposed to have your back no matter what goes, nah, man, wasn't cool out of Josh. We're not down with that.
So
You're the victim now.
I don't get your shock in this whole thing, because even if they did have his back, they couldn't say anything because they don't want to be labeled what he's been labeled. So, of course, they're not going to come out and say, that's my guy. No, he didn't mean anything. No, because they don't want to take the onslaught of what he's taking. So they take a step back, which is, in some cases, cowardice. If you really are a friend of this guy or something, by not standing up, you're saying, I don't want what he's getting right now. So no, I never heard him say that. No, he's not my friend. No, he's not a good teammate. You're going to say all that because you don't want to be labeled. Now, all this may be real, but if it's not, and if it's that case, then you're more of a coward for not standing up for him than you are by saying, no, we don't like him here, or all the things that are being said. But in this day and age, you cannot stand up for someone who's being labeled a certain way because you take on that label yourself.
What if I told you that it just is that?
It could be.
Right? It's just that.
It could be. But I think you also need to say that the possibility that it could be the other thing also, that they cannot stand up for him because they don't want that label too.
Well, I'll start with, and this will end up opening a whole nother case of worms. Aaron Judge is black. Aaron Judge is half black.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if there's one guy, forget the manager, forget Aaron Boone, who's not. If there is a guy here that had a leg to stand up and go, hey, look, we're good. I don't have a problem with it. I know Josh Donaldson. He's not racist. This is what it is. It'd be Aaron Judge. And Aaron Judge was like, nah.
Yeah, but
because here's the thing. So it's one thing not to support him. It's another thing to actively condemn it, right? They could just say nothing. Aaron Boone, how do you feel about what Josh Donaldson had to say?
But he can't.
Comment.
He can't not say something.
Sure he can.
No, he has to comment. They're going to him for a reason. He has to comment. We're in a day and age where you don't want to be labeled. So this could be your best friend in the world, but because you don't want to be labeled, you are not going to stand up for him.
I understand and agree with where you're coming from. I understand and agree with where you're coming from. And I'm sure that there are situations where some people go, I'm going to throw this guy under the bus because of the social labeling. But sometimes a dude just does something racist, and you just got to call it what it is.
Can you say something that comes across as racist and not be a racist? Can you say something offhand and it's taken a certain way and it's blown out of proportion because of the social media culture that we live in? Is it possible to say something offhanded and it not be that way, but it's taken that way?
Is it possible? Yes, of course. Of course it is. Yes, it's possible.
But it's another case where you label yourself something. In this case, the player called himself Jackie, but no one else can.
Right, but again, the context of how he said it versus...
I get...
And it's not just that Josh Donaldson called him that. It's that the next day in his defense, he lied about a bunch of stuff to defend himself.
As far as we know.
No, I mean...
As far as we know. Again, it comes down to labels.
Josh said, I've called him Jackie for years. TA said, no, he has not. And Josh hasn't come back and gone,
how do we know he's not lying? You're just taking his word right away.
Anderson's not lying?
Yeah, how do we know he's not lying?
I'm assuming that Josh Donaldson, having his ass thrown under the bus, would come back and go, Tim Anderson's lying.
Well, once he says what can he do? It's a he said. So you're automatically believing the other guy. Maybe he's lying.
I will believe the guy that
I don't know
himself.
either one of them, so I can't say which one's telling the truth.
I will also say that this is the other problem of being a fake tough guy like Josh Donaldson. Your reputation buys you more reputation. All right, let's take a break. Back after this, The Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate. Austin Riley.
3-run home run by Austin Riley. And it's 5-0 Braves in the 7th.
The action on the Braves Radio Network, 6-0 win over the Diamondbacks on Wednesday. Austin Riley hit a 3-run homer. William Contreras had 3 hits, including 2 of Atlanta's 5 doubles.
A Houston spa owner who received $5,000 from Deshaun Watson has testified that he paid the money to her because he's a nice person.
All right, let's see.
By the way, Deshaun is trending right now because of a 24th civil case.
Oh, we got another one coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dude's toast. Joe, listening from Niceville, Florida. Even though the golf wasn't that great, I still enjoy the match. Joe, first off, welcome, buddy. Great to have you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah. I watched the match not to watch great golf. If I want to watch great golf, I'll watch the PGA Tour. I watched it to be entertained, and they absolutely accomplished that for me. David has said who's playing Lakers in 5. Yeah, well, 5 what? 5 rounds of golf this weekend while they're not in the title game. 5 different couches they're all sitting on in the locker room watching the finals. 5 what?
They're in the Caribbean, man. They know no couch.
Did you see that Temper's real estate company filed for bankruptcy? Yes, I did. We're going to be talking about that in a few minutes.
Take the mystery and stigma out of therapy. That's where BetterHelp began. I'm Danny, co-founder of BetterHelp Online Therapy. Our mission is simple. Find a way to make professional therapy accessible, affordable, and convenient for everyone. With BetterHelp, you can connect to a therapist by phone, video call, or even text message. You can contact your therapist when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit, you can switch anytime. Because BetterHelp is designed with you in mind. See why over 2 million members have trusted BetterHelp for online therapy. Go to betterhelp.com/youfirst and get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/you.
All right, let's see. What else we got? Talked about Johnny Depp. Hello, Miss Lisa. Welcome in. Yeah, we'll wish Joe would be a happy birthday later on in the show. My man, Joe Bright. Good dude. Good dude. So we actually got to see cancel culture get it wrong with Johnny Depp. Okay, so I don't think it's bad when there are allegations made to research and investigate them. But yeah, the firing thing, backfired. Absolutely. Absolutely. I saw a DC animated film where Wonder Woman cut Mara's head off. How big of a pot would it be if that happened to her character in Aquaman 2?
That was a wild
What
film.
Was it animated? I'm assuming, obviously. Animated.
Yeah. Was it Flashpoint? I think it might have been Flashpoint.
Flashpoint?
Yeah.
I need to watch. I still haven't watched that.
Where Wonder Woman and Aquaman had an affair.
Aquaman and Wonder Woman had an affair?
Yes. And Atlantis and Themyscira went to war.
Wonder Woman should have better taste in men than that. Superman's overrated. But you can do better than Aquaman.
Superman is not overrated. Superman is what we all should aspire to be. Batman is what everyone thinks they are.
And nobody is. Papa, appreciate that, big fella. Next Saturday, you good for me to come in and hang out on the show with you?
I am always good for you to come in.
Keegan says Flashpoint was wild. DC animated are the best products. I completely agree with that.
And you can watch a ton of them on HBO Max.
HBO has a whole DC animated selection, and I've watched a few of them, and they've been great.
I did watch one that I turned off. The Catwoman movie.
It was bad? Or
the animated. It just wasn't.
It wasn't good?
It wasn't good.
Yeah.
It to the point where Lisa was like, finally, you turned it off. I mean, just setting had something to do with it. Pacing, the music involved. There was just a lot of things. It just wasn't. It wasn't up to par with what they normally do.
Yeah. Their animated stuff's mostly really good.
You know, as crazy as Amber Heard appears to be, I've had some conversations with some guys in the building. They still would like to be with her.
Listen, if you say Amber Heard's unattractive, you're a liar. All right? She's an attractive human being. Objectively speaking, she's an attractive human being. And as somebody who has historically been attracted to crazy women, I get it. But there's a line, my guy. There's a line.
By the way, Killing Joke's good, but Under the Red Hood's still probably my favorite.
You know what holds up? 2.5 decades later, Mask of the Phantasm
It
is
does.
still incredible. All right, very quick punctuation mark here on hour number 1 of the show. David Tepper's real estate company has filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Now, in doing so, they have officially stuck the wooden stake into the heart of the Rock Hill, South Carolina, Carolina Panthers HQ, which was like half built. So now in Rock Hill, South Carolina, there's a big old parcel of land with a 60% completed gigantic building that's now dead. This is a deeper story than Rock Hill's not getting a Panthers HQ, right? I told you this on day one. The story here is not about the Rock Hill facility. If you're in Rock Hill, it is, of course. If you're in Rock Hill, and especially if you're into the economic side of the neighborhood in Rock Hill, this is a massive bummer, dude. The bigger story here is that Tepper, after he did not get the money that he wanted from taxpayers in order to get the Rock Hill facility finished, decided to take his ball and go home, to the point that he would have one of his biggest companies straight up file bankruptcy before he'd be willing to sit down and figure out a way to finish this project. When Tepper is ready to replace BOA, there's going to be a lot of people that are asked for money by the Panthers that now have a sour taste in their mouth who are going to say no. Government officials included. I'm going to go ahead and make this prediction. 10 years from now, there won't be a Carolina Panthers anymore. They'll be playing somewhere else. Back after this, we'll break that down further in the next hour of the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate.
We have a nice, peaceful hour, too. I can't handle all the drama. That first hour is just too much for me.
I like a little conflict here and there, you know? All right, be right back, guys.
If you're leaving, leave. I mean, come on.
From the world's #1 selling nerve care company. Nervive contains alpha-lipoic acid to relieve nerve aches, weakness, and discomfort, and B-complex vitamins to support healthy nerve function as you age. Live your life with less nerve discomfort with Nervive Nerve Relief. Learn more at nervivehealth.com.
Before anyone asks, Rob and I are not fighting. We're having a fun show. But we will be talking wrestling in hour number 3 because, it's scheduled. And I'm going to ask a question. Do you have an MJF in your building? If you're not a wrestling fan, you don't know what I'm asking. But if you are, do you have an MJF in your building or in your family? So there might be an obvious answer here that you guys may think who's the MJF of this building, but you could be wrong. Now I'm asking the question, who's the MJF in your family or at your place of business?
I mean, my place of business? I don't think it's me. I think I like to pretend it's me, but it's not.
So an MJF is a heel he's a villain who embraces it. He knows who he is. He knows his value to the company. I know there's some people who like to think they are, but they're not really. Golf card in the first break. Nod your head. Thank you. Yeah, Keegan, we're going to be talking about that in the Fight Club later, for sure.
No, Keegan, that was, we're going to talk about it. That was amazing. Hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show starts right now, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in. This is the Fan Upstate. How do you do, Upstate South Carolina? Hello, America. Hello, world. I am Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo at the board directly across from me. Phenomenal show so far this AM. Hope that you will join us on the phone lines at 844-FAN-PHONE, 844-FANFO, and 844-326-3663. You can also get at us on the Preferred Home Services text line. That number is 71307, 71307. Start your text with the word fan so we can read them on the air. Coming up in about 22-ish minutes, we're going to be joined by Cody Decker, former MLB player and host of the nationally syndicated BetQL program, Bet for the Cycle, which airs on Saturdays from 1 to 5 Eastern Time on the BetQL network, on your Odyssey app.
Wait. You're on that show, though, right?
It turns out I am also on that show. This is correct.
Wow, you're on a nationally syndicated. You're not a fill-in host. This happens every
Correct.
week.
Every single Saturday.
And you're the only one that can say that.
So far. Every single Saturday, 1 to 5 p.m., I host alongside Cody Decker, Bet for the Cycle, on the BetQL network, on Odyssey's app, on Odyssey stations around the country. Cody's going to join us. We'll talk to him a little bit about the Josh Donaldson story, as well as ask him what the hell's going on with the Atlanta Braves. Now, the answer is Jorge Soler and Jock Peterson and a fistful of other bats are no longer in the lineup. And they lost, I don't care what you say, some clubhouse leadership in Freddie Freeman taking off to L.A., but that can't be it.
Not a baseball guy here, but I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt here, but it seems to me that this was said this time last year, wasn't it? And,
it was.
Yeah, and they turned it around and they won the whole thing.
They did. And, of course, the major reason for that was the trade deadline acquisitions of the Braves turned out to be the work of an actual wizard, Alex Anthopoulos, GM of the year. But do they have that in them again this year? Do they have the money to do that again this year? We'll ask Cody Decker that question coming up in just a tick over 20 minutes, 25 minutes, we'll call it that. And via the text line, because of course you would, texter says, can we please ask Cody when he orders a hot dog, what does he expect to get on it, not a default hot dog? Yes, we will. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you the answer now. Cody's an LA guy. Cody is in beautiful, sunny Los Angeles, California. Cody lives next to Dodger Stadium. Therefore, Cody is a frequent partaker of the Dodger dog. The Dodger dog is a hot dog, without chili on it. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you that Cody, like 95% of America, recognizes that a chili dog is a chili dog and a hot dog's a hot dog.
Probably more like 99% of America.
I mean, South Carolina's a big state.
Is it, though? I mean,
the question is, and I don't...
It is ever growing.
I don't know the honest answer to this. Do they feel the same way on the Atlantic coast? Does Charleston feel the same way? Or is that an upstate thing? I think it's an upstate thing. I think if you go to Charleston and ask for a hot dog, you're not getting chili on it unless you say chili dog.
I might be visiting the coast sometime soon.
That's true.
Not that far down, but Garden City usually is where we go. I might have to
do a little research,
order a hot dog and just see what happens.
I hate to put you in a position where I've got to ask you to eat multiple hot dogs when you're on vacation, Lonzo.
Because hot dog is not my food of choice. It's for poor people, and I'm in radio, so I make a lot of money.
I, on the other hand, like America and work hot dogs into my diet routinely.
Now, apple pie, I'm good with that.
Obviously.
If you have to, what's more American, hot dogs or apple pie? I'm going to go with apple pie.
Just order them and see what happens.
All right, I'll do that.
All right. Braves, by the way, 24-27. They are 5-5 in the last 10. They are exactly 500, 14-14 at home, 10-13 on the road, and currently trail the New York Mets by 10.5 games.
How many games are left? Like 90 something?
I mean, a lot.
Okay.
Like a lot. No, it's still like 120 games left.
Wow.
Yeah. There's plenty of time. But it's still not a great start to the season, right? What you don't want is to go to the trade deadline, add a couple of bats, build your lineup, and still be staring at the top of a mountain you've got to climb. You'd like to be near or at the top of the mountain and keep elevating, as opposed to, yeah, we got all these guys, but we got to win at an 85% clip the rest of the way in order to catch up. Not win, catch up. Ketchup, by the way, a thing that comes on a hot dog, not chili. Texter says, I lived in Charleston for 7 years and can say that it is the same there. Chili, mustard, onions. So is this a South Carolina thing then? Like all of South Carolina goes chili, mustard, onions is called a hot dog, not a chili dog. We'll find out. We'll ask Cody.
I don't think they sell hot dogs in Charleston.
Come on.
That's where all the rich people live. Rich people don't eat hot dogs.
I feel like coming from a place where teachers threw desks at kids has disillusioned Lonzo just a little bit. That's what I think's happening here.
Wow, because I'm being genuine without any sarcasm at all.
None.
Yes.
You?
I
No.
wouldn't. I don't understand sarcasm.
Of course not.
I don't know. People have to explain it to me.
It's a weird concept. I know. It's a weird concept. Let's get a couple more stories in here. We talked to you on the way out. The Panthers' Rock Hill, South Carolina facility is dead, according to Anthony Rizzuti of the Charlotte Observer, after David Tepper's real estate company filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy about 2 months ago. I speculated that this was going to be bad news for Carolina-based Panthers fans. Not now, right? Because at the end of the day, Panthers HQ going to Rock Hill doesn't change anything for you as a Panthers fan.
I will. A question though, isn't this good news for the upstate of South Carolina though?
Why would it be?
Because they stay at Wofford, right?
I think they would have anyway.
I don't know. There was speculation that they would be moving there to do training camp.
Sure.
So now at least for us, it might be a good thing because they stay at Wofford.
Maybe. I'm not saying no to that. It's not a no. It's a maybe. Because, again, a lot of teams host their camps away from their facilities, right? They want to get the guys away from the creature comforts. They want to get them away from their families, away from their regular day-to-day lives, away from their routine, mainly because you want to use that time to have your team bond a little bit. And nothing will help a couple of dudes bond better than being away from the norm, right? That's why when dudes want to bond, what do? They go play golf, or they go camping, or they go fishing, or they go hunting, right? They don't go to each other's houses and just hang out on the back porch. They go do something that is out of the norm. That's unusual. That's how we bond. That's how bros do it. And so most NFL teams do their camps away from HQ for that exact reason. So I think they still would have come. But regardless, it may be good for the upstate in that it increases the likelihood that the Panthers keep coming down to Wofford for their camp, which is a big to-do. We broadcasted live there last year. Had a good time doing it. What it also increases the odds of, I think I speculated a couple of months ago, what it also increases the odds of is that if David Tepper does not get what he wants, which is the public paying for the majority of a new stadium when he's ready to get out of BOA, that he'll go, bleep this, I'm out, right? You guys aren't paying for your share, Charlotte, Carolina/North Carolina/Carolinas. You guys aren't paying your share, therefore I'm outie $5,000 later. And he walks. Now, I will tell you that there is a growing trend amongst higher level sports, professional sports. There is a growing trend. I'm not commenting on whether it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's there. There is a growing trend where cities/states are becoming less interested in paying billionaires to build stadiums for them. You can see that happening. And granted, this one is a little bit escalated because of who it is. But you can see that happening with the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders are looking to leave FedEx Field. The Washington Commanders had 3 sites available to them to build a new stadium. Granted, a chunk of this may be because it is Dan Snyder, but the Washington Commanders' 3 sites that they were looking at have all 3 since said, nah, we're good, never mind. We're all right. We're set. We don't need you here. We don't want you here. Dan Snyder is worth $4 billion. $4 billion with a B billion dollars. We're not going to fork over $250, $500, $700 million to build a stadium. Now, I've told you guys in the past the difference between $1 million and $1 billion. It's a ridiculous number, right? The difference between $1 million and $1 billion. 1 million seconds of time, tick-tock, tick-tock. 1 million seconds of time is 12 days. 1 million seconds is 12 days. 1 billion seconds is 31 years. Right? 1 million seconds is 12 days. 1 billion seconds is 31 years. Dan Snyder is worth about 124 years. A millionaire is worth 12 days, right? So you're seeing a growing trend of communities, even bigger cities, that are starting to realize, oh, and by the way, I read a study. I wish I've got it saved on the computer inside the Fortress of Nerditude. But I read a study somewhere that has shown that the larger the stadium, percentage-wise, the less it adds to the local economy, right? That's always been the big selling point for billionaires taking taxpayer dollars. Yeah, you're coming in for 40 or 50 or 60% of the cost of the stadium, but you're going to get it all back by the amount of economic development. Now, this only applies to big cities, right? If you build a stadium in New York or Chicago or Los Angeles or Boston or Chicago, you're not adding all that much, if anything, to the local economy. All that money is still already there, and it's still already going to be spent, and you're not going to go in the hole a few hundo mil for it. It is different when you are talking about smaller communities, which is part of the reason that the Washington Commanders are not going to end up anywhere near any big cities. Instead, according to the Richmond Times-Dispatch, in an article produced by Jeff Burke of USA Today, the Washington Commanders are exploring purchasing 200 acres of land in Prince William County in Virginia. FedEx Field is one of the largest stadiums in the National Football League. But because Dan Snyder appears for now to end up being mostly on the hook for the price of this stadium, the new stadium that the Commanders will be building, if they go through with it, in Prince William County, Virginia, not particularly close to, Washington. The new stadiums, though, 55,000 seats.
That's not very big.
No, it's not. It would be smallest stadium in the NFL.
Is that about expectations for their fan base, or is it just...
I suspect it's twofold. I suspect, number one, it's fan base expectation, not in that the Commanders don't have a big fan base. I have no doubt they lost some of their fan base when they stopped being the old team moniker and started being the Commanders. I have no doubt they lost some fans then. I also have no doubt that a lot of fans are going, I'm not driving from... Now, I will tell you, I don't know where the parcel of land is, okay? I don't know where the parcel of land is. The only thing I've read so far is that it's not particularly close to D.C.
Could this be the post-COVID norm for the size of stadiums now? I mean, because this is the first new one since, the pandemic.
It's about 25 miles southwest of D.C., but it's all interstate miles leading out of a huge city. So I'd assume, hour to get for on game day? With one interstate from D.C. south, 25 to 30-ish miles south. I'm assuming an hour to an hour and 15 to get there. The super fans are still going to show up. But
I've been on that interstate a couple times, and it seemed to go pretty smoothly. And maybe on a Sunday, it's not that bad.
That's what I said. On game day?
Yeah.
I don't know. But $55K, I assume part of it is because they've lost some fans by switching from the old moniker to the WFT, and then from the WFT to the Commanders. I assume another chunk of it is that nobody but the hardcore fans are going to spend that much time driving 25 miles south out of D.C. to go see a very average football team. And then there's the third X factor in this equation. The third X factor in this equation is Dan Snyder's going to end up paying for this. Dan Snyder's got to buy 200 acres of land. He's got to pay for the infrastructure on that 200 acres of land, the parking on that 200 acres of land, and the stadium itself, because nobody seems to be willing to come off the cash to give to a man worth $4 billion who has the baggage and the drama, who is being summoned to Congress as we speak to talk about arguably the worst work environment in the National Football League, one that has been deemed very unsafe for anybody who's not Dan and his boys. So yeah, it's not a great look. Dan's going to be on the money, and I assume that Dan, by building a 55,000 seat stadium instead of a 85 or 95,000 seat stadium, is saving himself some cash, because billionaires don't get to be billionaires by throwing around money willy-nilly, right? They're not big fans of giving their money to other people. That's why they have billions of dollars. They want as much money from other people as they can. Why? Every owner in the NFL could afford to build a 100,000 seat stadium out of pocket. Every one of them does what? Give us as much tax money as we can get. Why? Because billionaires don't become billionaires by giving away their money, right? They're very good at shielding it. And so Dan's in this spot where nobody's giving him money, and he's got all of the off-the-field baggage. So Dan is going to buy 200 acres well outside of D.C., build the smallest stadium in the NFL, and try to sell his fans on, we're not really worried about getting quantity of fans in, but quality of fans. All right, bro. Now to circle back around to where we started this conversation, this leads us Back to David Tepper. Back to the Panthers. Tepp very clearly wants as much cash out of the local communities at the state and local level as he can get. He tried to get a lot out of Rockhill in South Carolina. After some disagreements, they went, nah, we good. We good. You take what we already offered you or you take nothing. And Tepp, as opposed to taking what was already on the table and coming up with this out of his billions of dollars, Tepp said, I would rather, by the way, Dan Snyder, worth $4 billion, where a billion seconds is 31 years. Dan Snyder's worth $4 billion. David Tepper, Lonzo, is worth $16.7 billion. $16.7 billion. You think Tepp couldn't afford to put this entire HQ by himself? Out of his own pocket. He could build a $200 million Panthers HQ in Rock Hill, Lonzo. It would barely scratch his net worth. Barely scratch his net worth.
You're right, but as you pointed out, billionaires get that way for a reason, and they keep it for a reason, and it's smart money sense on their part to try to get the funds from somewhere else.
Yeah. So they said, we're not giving you more. He said, I want more. They said no. So instead of just going, all right, you know what? I'll come up with this out of pocket, and I'll just own the whole damn thing and make that cash off of it. He went, I would rather scrap a 60% constructed building. I would rather abandon it, and I would rather declare bankruptcy on one of my real estate companies than just pay for the damn thing myself. So what do you think's going to happen when he decides that Bank of America is not good enough anymore, wants a new stadium, and Charlotte and the state of North Carolina go, nah, you want it, you buy it. The Panthers will be gone. We'll take a break. Back after this short segment, and then Cody Decker joins us after that on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Golf cart.
Matt Hardy, Darby Allin, and Jurassic Express with Christian Cage versus Red Dragon, Young Bucks, and Brandon Cutler.
Oh, you're watching that right now?
That's what's next.
Oh, okay. Well, don't
That's where I left
spoil.
off.
Don't
No, I
spoil.
haven't
Huh?
watched it yet.
Okay. How'd you like Brandon Cutler dressed as Lita the other day?
Amazing.
That was wild.
Amazing.
I'm like, I didn't get it till he got in the ring and I saw the thumb.
Yep.
You're like, okay,
Amazing.
all right.
Cutler is so good.
The question is, because you don't know enough about him, really, does that
Can he
take?
wrestle?
Does that? No, I know he can wrestle. Does it take convincing to get him to do something like that, or does he go,
I
yeah,
don't know.
let's
I
do
think-
it?
Dude, tell me Brandon Cutler is not as over as the Young Bucks. Just
Oh,
like
for sure.
Brandon Cutler right now.
But who came up with that character? Did the Bucks come up with it, or did Brandon come up with it on his own? As far as the mask and all that stuff, I mean, it's just. Taco Bell. No, your voice makes me not want Taco Bell. And I didn't know that was possible.
The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Quick in and out here because my co-host on Bet for the Cycle, Saturdays 1 to 5 on the BetQL Network, your Odyssey app, on Odyssey stations nationwide, and on Twitch, Cody Decker, joins us in the next segment. But before we get there, real quick, Zoe, text on the text line. When you go to Garden City, go to Sam's Corner at the pier and have a foot-long deep fried with chili and mustard. Incredible! Exclamation point. Deep fried hot dog, chili, mustard. I'm in.
That sounds like I would die instantly afterwards, but I might give
it on the way out.
I might give that a shot. I won't be too far from the pier. That's all I'm saying. I'm looking forward to going to Bubba's. But again, last time we were at Bubba's, it was the best crab cakes I've ever had in my entire life, and I said I will never go back again. Once you've had what you believe is the perfect food, do you go back a second time and have it spoiled for you? Because you could go back and go, it's just as good this time. Or you could go back and go, oh, man,
It's
why'd I
not
do
as
that?
good.
Yeah.
You've ruined it. Yeah, no, listen, I understand entirely. I completely understand.
I don't have a choice in the matter because the family says we're going. So.
I also completely understand that. Completely understand that. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. Cody Decker is a former Major League Baseball player. He is a WC baseball player. He is also my co-host on Saturdays. Bet for the Cycle 1 to 5 on the BetQL Network. We'll be joined by Cody Decker when we come back on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
It's like 7:30 in California, right?
Yep, he literally just he texted me, said, "Are we good?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "All right, I'll get out of bed."
See, he should have did it from bed because that would have been amazing.
He's got a
Could have went John Lennon on us.
He's got a very, very nice home studio set up.
I've seen it. Seen bits and pieces of it. I'm not going to sit here and act like I watch everything you do, but you do post.
It's all fantastic.
Well, you know, you do post things on occasion, and I check those out. So.
Not yet, Steven. Not yet. This week has been quite busy. I promise you, this one is not a like because I'm halvesies on wanting to see it.
Hey, you're hurting yourself by not watching this film.
I know.
Yeah,
No,
I
it
mean,
hurts me that I haven't seen it yet.
I mean, universally lauded. I mean, I do have one critical point to it, but I will, which I've mentioned on the air last Saturday, but I'll save it for you because I wonder if you agree with the take. And some other people have said the same thing, but beautifully shot, watched a bunch of behind the scenes stuff too. And no way you get me in a plane to do what those actors did. I was watching a thing on it yesterday, and they said at first everything was genuine, that it scared them a great deal doing what they had to do inside the planes. And then after a while, they got so comfortable with it that they had to be told to act
more freaked out.
Act less comfortable, yes. I don't see how you could ever get comfortable with the canyon run they do. It's just, no. But there again, I've never flown before, so. I've been meaning to mention this, and maybe the stream has noticed this too, that your shirt is awesome. That's so cool.
Thanks, man. I'm gonna play a show this weekend, so figured I'd break it out today.
Sweet. How much do you miss the stage when you don't get to play?
That's the only reason I'm driving home this weekend.
I will tell you, after you retire, it doesn't get any less.
Honestly, I think it's going to be more. Like, I'm already to the point, obviously, that it's been, when's the last show I played? January? And I'm, like, itching for it.
When you and Tim played on the Christmas special, it killed me. Because it's like, I had a taste of it again. And it's like, I just don't have time. I absolutely don't have time. Well, Saturday night pretty much killed it. Well, during the time, when it went away, when some people quit and everything, I had 2 sports shows and was doing a pregame show for a Presbyterian. Yeah. And so there's just no way. I just didn't have time. Yeah, sometimes work gets in the way. Imagine that. He is coming, right? Because
yeah,
we got like a minute or so.
This is the last segment, right? We're taking this all the way to the end?
No,
right?
We got another break.
We do?
No,
we just did 2 segments.
At 53.
Right, that's what I mean. We're taking it to the end.
This is the last segment.
Of the
no,
hour.
You're right. It is
Okay.
the last segment.
That's what I meant.
I apologize for my lack of intelligence. This headache is a wall, man. Got to fight through it.
I respect that.
There he is. Could at least say hello or something. I mean, he's just like, he's right there.
Cody Decker.
What?
What's up, buddy?
Chilling, dude.
Sorry to make you wake up and get out of bed bright and early, pal.
No, it's all right. Yeah, I had nothing else to do other than sleep and enjoy my life.
Most people who hang out with me say that. I get it.
10 seconds.
10 seconds. Love it. Grab that Red Bull, baby.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Rob Brown Show is back on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Great to have you along with us on a gorgeous Upstate Thursday morning. Rob Brown, Lonzo, and you. And joining the show for the first and hopefully not the last time, he is a former Major League Baseball player. He is also, and this may even be more impressive of an accomplishment, my co-host on a little show we call Bet for the Cycle, which airs on the BetQL network, on the Odyssey app, on fine Odyssey radio stations around the country, and on Twitch if you don't get enough of this mug on the weekly stream. My man Cody Decker joins us here on the show. What's up, big fella?
Oh, you know, baby, living the dream. I got up bright and early to hear your lovely voice because I'm on the West Coast, in case you don't realize this. So the fact that I'm here right now means A, I'm a glutton for punishment, or B, I love the sound of my own voice so much that I'm willing to get up this early and ruin your show. I love it.
Do you see why Cody and I get along so well?
It's like a mirror. It's amazing.
It is. He's just slightly better looking, but the same guy.
Yeah. Let's be real clear. We got some pipes on this version of Rob Brown. I don't know what he's talking about.
Cody Decker, co-host, Bet for the Cycle with me every Saturday, 1 to 5 Eastern on the BetQL network. You can hear that on the Odyssey app. You can hear it on WTPT HD3 radio right here in the Ville. And you can watch us on Twitch. The show, we started this show, Cody Decker, with the concept of let's talk baseball gambling while we watch baseball on Saturday. And it has devolved into that, but also make really corny jokes and lots of pop culture references. It's like this show, but with two of us.
Yeah, and on top of that, we also have a producer called we didn't dub his name Hatin' Ass Mario. In fact, all-star shortstop of the Chicago White Sox, Tim Anderson, dubbed him Hatin' Ass Mario. And all we do is basically, you called it a show about baseball. I call it about a show about absolutely destroying this young, lovely producer named Mario's life. And we do. It's awesome.
We have taken young Hatin' Ass Mario, dubbed again by Tim Anderson, shortstop for the Chicago White Sox. We have taken him, Cody Decker and I, under our wings, and we are trying to grow him as a broadcaster, as a producer. And part of that lesson, Cody, involves Hatin' Ass Mario learning that people are going to be jerks most of the time, but we're jerks while we laugh about it, and that's what makes us so amazing.
It's one of the many things that makes us amazing. The show, one is the best show ever made, and two, I don't know what else to tell you. There's an abundance of sexy on the show. There's just an outrageous amount of man power that's taken place. Think horsepower, but just really attractive men. And that would be you and I.
Yeah. And then also Mario's there.
Mario's there to witness it. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it is. Cody Decker joining us here on the show. I did have a couple of things that I wanted to ask you seriously. You know, we talked a couple of weeks ago and then obviously followed it up last week with this Josh Donaldson, Tim Anderson story. And obviously we're squarely in the corner of Tim Anderson, America's favorite baseball player, thanks to him absolutely ruining multiple days of Hatin' Ass Mario. But Josh Donaldson yesterday came out, Cody, and said that he was shocked and disappointed that the Yankees didn't stand up for him. Aaron Boone specifically said it was inappropriate. Aaron Judge said it was inappropriate. And now Josh Donaldson has said he's bummed and disappointed. Everywhere I've gone, we've won because I'm a great teammate, etc. What is your hilarious take on that take from Josh Donaldson?
You know the phrase "know thyself"? Well, forget know thyself. Josh Donaldson has never met thyself. Josh Donaldson is the most disliked person in baseball and has been for a decade. The fact that he doesn't know this shows that he's also a moron.
So, Lonzo and I compare everything to wrestling, right? Like life is wrestling, wrestling is life. And I said the difference between a heel like MJF or Ric Flair and a heel like Josh Donaldson is that guys like Flair are self-aware and lean into it and just own the fact that nobody likes them and turn it into a thing. Josh Donaldson, it just doesn't click. And I said that earlier on the show. in which I told the story about your text involving that situation with Lucas Giolito, where JD made it sound like he was ready to scrap, ready to go. And in the back scenes, it didn't really feel that way. I mean, this kind of seems like a trend in this guy's career.
It's just one thing after another. Listen, if you're a Major League Baseball player and you are a guy at the caliber of Josh Donaldson, because here's one thing I can definitely say. Josh Donaldson is a perennial MVP. He's a phenomenal third baseman and incredible offensive talent. He just is. But when you are that type of talent, potentially generational type of talent, and you are constantly being moved from team to team while signing long-term deals, there is a problem. And the fact that he's not aware of said problem and not understanding of the problem, he had the same issues in Oakland, same issues in Toronto, same issues in Minnesota. They moved him out almost immediately. Hell, this guy's been causing problems with the White Sox for years. You just mentioned Tim Anderson. He got into it last year with Lucas Giolito. He's gotten into it with Tim Anderson twice this year. It's ridiculous.
So Corey Decker is my co-host, or I should say I'm his, on Bet for the Cycle every Saturday, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. From a baseball player perspective, from somebody who's been in the locker room at every level up to the bigs, how does that impact the team, right? Especially when it's bubbled to the surface. This is the best Yankees team we've seen in a number of years. They've stayed healthy through the better part of 22-ish% of the season so far. How does having a guy like this on the squad who, even if you, and I don't get it, but if you don't feel like this is a problem, who has historically caused problems in locker rooms through his career, how does this have an impact in a clubhouse?
It's going to be interesting. Right now, it's going to be wait and see, because I don't know. How is the team going to respond to this when he comes back in the locker room? He puts out a statement yesterday that he's disappointed in the potential MVP of Major League Baseball this season and the manager of the Yankees, by the way, the 34-win Yankees. Listen, at the end of the day, the GM, the fans, the team are going to take the side of Aaron Judge and Aaron Boone over Josh Donaldson. Josh Donaldson, you're new here. You're not liked here already. It took 1 month. Just go out and play the game. When you go out and play the game, you're one of the best out there. When you go out there and open your mouth, you're one of the worst out there. Just duct tape your mouth shut and put the ball in the gaps.
Cody Decker, Hot Take Express. I love it. He joins me. I join him, however you want to say it, on Bet for the Cycle on Saturdays 1 to 5.
We join each other.
We join each other. It's like that weird scene in Avatar with the blue cattail things coming together. It's that, but less creepy somehow. Joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. All right. Obviously, we're here in the upstate of South Carolina, Cody. It is Atlanta Braves country. You and I have gone back and forth about the Braves a number of times this year. I went off on them 2 weeks ago because they just aren't the same team. There's not those spark moments. Obviously, Jock Peterson is not there anymore. Jorge Soler is doing big things for the Marlins, but the Braves can't seem to get above 500. It's like they climb to 500 and then they give a few back, climb to 500 and give a few back. Overall perspective, what's going on in Atlanta for you?
They're just not the same team, like you mentioned. Now, can things change going forward? Obviously, this was a team that was 10 games under 500 at the trade deadline and then ended up winning the World Series because they got their hands on a Jock Peterson, because they got their hands on a Jorge Soler. And so it's very possible that this team can absolutely compete going forward. But the problem is, can they win their division? No, I don't think they can. Already, and it's June. It's early June. This Mets team, I really, really legitimately think is real. They're 10.5 games up on the Braves, and they're doing it without Scherzer, without DeGrom. They sent down Dom Smith, a guy who can help any team right now get to the playoffs, but they sent him down. So right now, the Mets are just an embarrassment of riches at the moment. So can the Braves compete with it on paper? Yeah, but they're just not doing it. So they're going to have to be battling for a wild card spot, and there is an extra playoff team. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, but to say there's been a disappointment is an understatement. I thought this team would be battling it out at 33 wins alongside the Mets right now, and they're just not. And it's guys that can play. Charlie Morton Jr. is a phenomenal pitcher, and he's having a bad season.
So they're 10.5 games behind the Mets, as you mentioned, and last year in a similar spot. And then Alex Anthopoulos, as far as I'm concerned, won GM of the Year awards with the trade deadline acquisitions that he made. I've had Braves fans say, we're in the same spot. In Alex, we trust. We're going to be able to do that. But if they don't make up a little bit of ground, there's a big difference between you're floating around 500 and then you add these bats and you start climbing versus you're around 500, you add the bats, start climbing, but you're 10.5 or perhaps 20 games back from the Mets, who, again, the best Mets team we've ever seen. Can Alex Anthopoulos do it again?
Yes, he can. But you got to keep in mind, this team is not going to win this division. They got to battle for a wild card spot. It's all about just getting to October. You get to October, anything good could happen. And especially if you get one of the higher wild card spots, you never know. This team can do it. I mean, when we're looking at this division right now, they're not even, we can honestly say they're not even the biggest disappointment in the division. The Phillies, I mean, have just been a dumpster fire of a franchise, and they have increased their payroll by $100 million. So let's be real clear. They could be worse than it is over there in Atlanta. But yeah, could they do it? Can Alex Anthopoulos do this again? He can, but what he did last year was extraordinary. Truly, truly extraordinary that he was able to basically trade for pieces to put together a World Series team with a 1 month left in time. I can't imagine anyone being able to pull off that lightning striking twice, but if someone can do it, it's Alex Anthopoulos.
Cody Decker is one half of Bet for the Cycle every Saturday, 1 to 5 on the BetQL Network and the Odyssey app. I'm, of course, the other half. So before we let you get out of here, we've talked about this. Even if the Braves make the World Series, even if the Mets win the division, are the Dodgers good enough that it doesn't matter?
No, it's not, because the Dodgers just got swept by the Pirates, and the Dodgers didn't win the World Series last year, and they were far and away the best team in Major League Baseball last year. In fact, the Dodgers have been far and away the best team in Major League Baseball for 7 straight years, and they've only won 1 World Series, and it was the 2020 bubble season. So to say that it's anyone's game when it gets to October is an understatement. It's not the best team that wins. In fact, in the World Series, it's rarely the best team that wins.
Cody Decker, last question. I notice there are a number of plaques and certificates hanging on the wall behind you, but there's one right there in the middle, and, you know, it would seem like you would put one with a bit of prominence as your centerpiece. Can you tell me, perchance, just a little bit about that certificate that seems to be hanging directly over your well-manicured head?
So just so we're clear, we're not talking about the Pac-10 award here, the Pac-10 award here, the MVP here, or the PCL Player of the Month here. We're talking about this one right here, right?
That one right there. For those of you not watching the stream, that one right there.
This one. Okay, so this one's very interesting. You see it says Tops right there? That's for a minor league Player of the Year, because somebody in 2009 won an MVP award against some other players that were in the league. They weren't very good. I'm trying to think back of the players in that league. Some guy named like Mike Trout or whatever. He finished up second in the MVP race behind this guy. Yeah. So no big deal. Mike Trout might have 20 major league MVPs, but he doesn't have the low A MVP, does he? And he can't ever get it. It belongs to me. It's etched in history. I beat Mike Trout for an MVP award. None of you can say it. I am better than everyone.
You know what else Mike Trout doesn't have?
What's that?
A nationally syndicated radio show that airs on Saturdays from 1 to 5 on the BetQL network.
That is
I bet Mike Trout's jealous of us, if I had to say so.
You know what? I'm going to text him later. I'm like, hey, dude, I know you have $400 million, 5 American League MVPs, and probably your dream life. But you know what you don't have? A plaque that probably costs Topps cards about 45 cents, and you don't have a show that you barely get paid for on Saturdays. Baby, Rob Brown and I are beating you up, Mike Trout. That a baby.
Love it. Cody Decker, former MLB player, current co-host of Bet for the Cycle, airing Saturdays on the BetQL Network from 1 to 5 Eastern, which you can hear both of us. Cody, my God, good to have you on Not Saturday. Thanks for getting out of bed. You may return to your slumber now, my friend.
I'm going to do exactly that. I cannot wait. I love you, Rob.
I figured. We'll wake you up again early. Love you too, buddy. See you Saturday.
Hey, see ya.
Later on, that's Cody Decker. He is the other half of Bet for the Cycle on the BetQL Network. Saturday, 1 to 5. You can also hear it on Odyssey stations, the Odyssey app. We're back after this on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Thank you, big fella. Appreciate you, man.
Anytime, brother.
We'll do it again soon, pal.
Sounds good to me,
All right,
man.
buddy. See you Saturday.
Have a good one. Have a great rest of your show, brother.
See why Cody and I get along? Cody's a more successful, richer, better-looking version of me.
Quit selling yourself short. You were feeling guilty the entire time about calling yourself the co-host, but, there's no show without you, Rob. I wanted to jump on and defend the producer, but he might be as bad as you guys say he is. So, I don't want to.
He's a great guy, and he's a damn good producer. Good researcher, just an excellent guy. We just give him crap because he's further along in his career at 23 than either of us were. So it's, we got to knock him down a peg.
Okay.
Is it your car? Please tell me you were mistaking your own car.
No. Look out, and it'll stand out to you. You'll see why. So did you see it?
If you needed to know the exact shape of the radiator of that car, now you know. I was like, what is he talking? Oh, that one.
Six 15, 56, 46, 57, 58. Really? Why? Fifty-eight, 04, 59, 04, 59, 34, 59. 48.
Well, I took us to the away screen, but didn't turn the audio off, so you heard us talking about the car missing its entire front end.
It was just, well, it wasn't missing. It was replaced by something that probably doesn't go there. I'm guessing it would have to be fully functioning in order for the car to operate, but, you know, I'm not a car guy, so I could be wrong. Think it was bent like that in the first place, or they just like bent the frame part around to make it look. It was at first glance I didn't notice. I had to look a little bit closer and like, oh, that's why that looks weird. Great. Sounds like I'm losing my voice again. Wonderful. Some people will be really happy about that.
The third, the final, the best, the money hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now. This is the Fan Upstate. Hello, Upstate South Carolina. Hello, America. Hello, world. What is wrong with you, man? What is happening over there? Oh, is it the thing that did it? Because this was the same time you said that I wrecked your show yesterday, too.
No, you're good. You haven't noticed that the beginning of each hour, I prepare myself because I know that this thing is still, hurting. And there's a key, there's a note in there. I don't know what it is that you're hitting that really, really hurts. But you know what? I soldier on. That's what I do.
Listen, over the door to the studio is a sign that says "Play like a champion today," and Lonzo slaps it on the way into the studio every single day. Except the ones he doesn't.
I'm good. I mean,
okay. You only got to put up with me for 58 more minutes.
It's not. See, it's my fault because I told Rob that I have a headache, and I think subconsciously he gets louder than he's been the entire week.
Rude.
Well, it's true. I don't believe you're trying to hurt me on purpose. There are other hosts who might still like to hurt me on purpose, but. Yeah, I wasn't complaining about it. You brought it up. The only people who knew that I was struggling there are the people on the stream, which you should tune into, by the way.
You really should. Facebook.com/TheFanUpstate or go to YouTube and search The Rob Brown Show on YouTube. Like and subscribe to that YouTube channel, and you can go behind the scenes and watch every show as we do it live because we're entertaining and funny.
And you get to ask
smart.
us questions that we can't always talk about on the air because it's a sports show. I'm not saying, some nerdy type things.
It very rarely stops us.
Yeah.
If we're being honest. It very rarely stops us. Anyway, we got a lot of stuff. By the way, coming up in the next segment of the show, it's Thursday, and you know what that means. It's time for Fight Club. Lonzo guides us through all things combat sports in the upstate. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, probably going to be all wrestling in this one. Probably going to be all wrestling.
There's one thing isn't. but I mentioned it to you yesterday at the end
Okay.
of the show.
Okay.
If you probably don't remember, but
I don't.
that's fine.
It was a long time ago.
Oh, you'll be not glad that I bring it up.
Can't wait. Can't wait. All right. Couple of things I wanted to get into as we steam towards the end of the show. Last night, Team USA men's soccer got a 3-0 win over Morocco. By the way, Morocco, a team that has qualified for the World Cup. That's a World Cup qualified team that the Americans shut out, got the clean sheet 3-0. But I wanted to get some sound. I will start with clip number 3, if you don't mind, Lonzo. Clip number 3, USMNT. First and foremost, the audio of all 3 goals scored last night by the Americans.
Pulisic through the middle. Brought down beautifully. Then the check. Then the layoff. Then the goal. Aronson's name on it. Pulisic all over it. World class from Christian Pulisic to set up his teammate.
And then Christian Pulisic, watch Yarmolenko in Ukraine today against Scotland. Almost an identical run, identical goal. Just a world-class goal. But what is the key component of this goal? The verticality of Christian Pulisic. He comes in the middle, he's in the hole. Now he's going the other way because for the first 20 minutes, the Moroccan defenders have seen Christian Pulisic time and time again in front of them. But where is he most dangerous?
Where? Third effort of the night. And this time, he hits the jackpot with a shot of coruscating power and precision that appeared to flick the glove of Bunu, but there was no way he was keeping it out. Reports. Aronson. Pulisic. Was he fouled? Yes, penalty. And Haji Wright, in double quick time, is an international goal scorer.
So there you go. You had 3 scored. Haji Wright able to knock in the PK last night. Haji Wright just joined the USMNT. He has played many years with Christian Pulisic in the past, and Pulisic actually talked him up. He was very, very valuable in the attacking third last night. You also had that Christian Pulisic, and the audio did not play out just how good that assist from Christian Pulisic was. He chased down a ball that was floated over his head, directly over his head as he was running on goal. Was able to time up the run to receive the ball coming over his head, straight down to his feet, and was able to take it in one touch, which was an immaculate reception of the soccer ball before he crossed up the last defender, got the goalkeeper completely off his line, and sent it across the face of goal for the assist. It was a spectacular effort from Captain America.
I need some help.
Exactly the type of the play we were looking for.
What is coruscating power? Isn't that what he said? Coruscating power? Did I mishear that? It's just I don't know what that is. It sounds amazing coming from the announcer. Something, as Chuck said last night, there's just something about the British accent that, just really.
Oh, listen, as a guy trying to make it in play-by-play and who is trying to make it in soccer play-by-play, British soccer commentators are the best.
Yeah,
They're
but
untouchable.
I think they can make up words.
No, coruscating is a real word.
Okay.
And I only know that because, Lonzo, you may not know this about me. When I don't know a word, it aggravates me. I don't know why.
And you look it up.
And I look it up. So I looked up.
As I would do, but I can't spell.
That's all right. Oh, I got it wrong.
CORISGAT.
Nope.
Okay.
CORUSCATING. You can also past tense it as coruscated, or you can use it as a verb in coruscates. But coruscating power, coruscating or coruscate to give forth flashes of light, sparkle, and glitter.
Man, my dude was core skating, yo.
So now, the next time that one of your girlfriends goes, look at the ring, you can go, that ring.
He was talking to the audience, by the way.
Yeah,
Yes,
not Lonzo specifically.
Yeah, I just want to clarify.
Chorus skates to exhibit sparkling virtuosity or to give forth flashes of light, sparkling glitter. We, of course, are chorus skating.
Yeah, like the trophy that we won last week.
Chorus skates.
It was chorus skating.
Chorus skates.
I can't wait till, August while we're sitting there looking at the chorus skating trophy, knowing that we're about to receive it again.
I will, in an acceptance speech we do not give, I will thank the panel for yet another chorus skating trophy to add to our collection.
I wonder what happens if someone just decides to talk anyway, even though we're not supposed to. Do they take the trophy back?
We about to find out.
Because there wasn't anybody in the room that could have.
We'd like to find out. Come and take it. Anyway, I cannot describe to you how good that touch from Christian Pulisic was. It was core skating. It was a beautiful, beautiful reception from Christian Pulisic. He went on to send it across the face of goal in a spectacular effort to Brenden Aaronson, who finished the flush. Then, about 12 minutes later, Timothy Weah hit a strike from about 6 yards outside of the box that might as well have been a heat seeker to the top left corner. It was fantastic. It was spectacular as goals go. Goalkeeper, full extension, got a finger on it, but it was not enough. That thing rifled into the back of the net. That made it 2. And then, as you heard on that final call, Christian Pulisic gains possession left side of the goal, cuts back, is fouled inside the box, a clear and obvious PK, and Haji Wright went and flushed it. 3-0, the Americans beat the World Cup qualified Moroccans. Now, I understand, because some of you are going to go, well, they're not France, they're not Italy, they're not Spain. I am aware, but a 3-0 scoreline in football, a 21-0 defeat of a mid-tier college football program, NFL program, is still something to be talked about. It's still impressive, and that's effectively what this was. It was as good as the Americans have looked in a while. It was as good as the Americans have looked in a while. The Americans, and this is the part that I want to hammer on. The Americans last night looked like they knew the hell what they were doing. Looked like they had an identity. Looked like they had a focus. Looked like they had a style of play that worked for them. They looked for the first time, and you guys that have followed the show for any length of time know that I have put Greg Berhalter on blast since he got the job as the manager of this team. Have put him on blast. But last night, Greg Berhalter's team looked like a team. Greg Berhalter's squad looked like they had a strategy, looked like they had an identity, looked like they knew what they were doing. They made some tweaks to the lineup. Brenden Aaronson was moved to a central midfield spot. He is usually playing out on the wing, and he was very efficient in that spot. Yunus Musa dropped a bit deeper in support of Tyler Adams. Musa's a guy who traditionally has played further up the field. This time, he sat back in a support role, and he was efficient. He opened up the field for Christian Pulisic to play wide, get a lot of opportunities, and then force the ball by cutting into the middle of the field, which he did on that first goal, that spectacular goal from Pulisic to Aaronson. They look good. He paired Aaron Long and Walker Zimmerman, who have not played many matches together, across the back. They played solid defense. They put out a couple of runs the Moroccans went on and were able to close them down themselves. The substitutions were good. Cameron Carter-Vickers came on, was effective. Not spectacular, but I didn't need spectacular. I need spectacular out of Pulisic, out of Musa. out of Zimmerman, out of the guys up front, out of Aronson. That's what I need spectacular. I need efficient. I need good out of my subs. And that's what they got. That's what they got. It was impressive. They looked like they knew what they were doing, like they had an identity, like the formation was right, like guys that have been out of position were in the right position for the first time. Now, that's not to say it was flawless. It's not. That's not to say it was perfect. It was not. The Moroccans repeatedly switched the field. That is to say, brought it up on the right, got the Americans to gather their numbers on that side, then flipped the ball over to the left ahead of the American defense and were able to get in behind them while they were readjusting their position on the field. It worked out exceptionally well for the Moroccans. That's a problem with the back line that has to get corrected. There were a number of times that Cannon and Robinson, your back two cornerbacks, found themselves in positions where they were having to call guys out of the center over to help them squash a drive. And when they called the center backs over to help play extra defense, the Moroccans were able to get the ball into the center of the field, which is the last place the Americans wanted them at that point in time. But the good news is that the mistakes that were made across the back were few and far between. The mistakes that were made by the Americans across the back, they can get away with them against Morocco, against Trinidad and Tobago, against Jamaica, against maybe even Mexico and Canada, maybe. They will not get away with them against France, Germany, England, Italy, Spain, etc. Got to get better across the back. But the front six were on last night, had an identity, look good. That being said, let me grab clip number 2 from Christian Pulisic, if you don't mind, please, Lonzo. Pulisic was asked after the game, how did it feel to be back on American soil after your long stint with Chelsea? How did it feel to get back on American soil and play in front of American soccer fans? And Christian Pulisic, the captain of the squad, said this.
It's been a couple months since you were back in front of these U.S. fans. How'd it feel tonight?
Yeah, it was nice. To be honest, for whatever reason, I'm not super happy with the amount of Americans here, however that works out, if I'm being completely honest. But it's thanks to the ones who did come, and the support is always great from them. But yeah, it's nice to be back in America and playing again.
No problem with that at all. No problem with that at all. I got zero issue with Christian Pulisic saying, I'm disappointed in the turnout. There are a small gathering of games between now and the World Cup that starts in 6 months. The Americans are getting their tune-up on right now. This is the point in time that they are trying to pull it all together and get themselves in form for the biggest sporting event on planet Earth, the World Cup. The thing that they will need to build that momentum is that support. Full stadiums will help them to gather, to bond, to get a feeling for energy, because when they get to Qatar in November and they start playing World Cup games, they won't have that, right? And while you might say, and some people have said already, I've seen it on social media, well, wouldn't you rather they play in front of smaller crowds since that's the support level they're going to get in Qatar? No. I would rather them have the opportunity to feel what it's like when the team has electricity, when the team has energy, when the team has chemistry, and when the team is playing well together with each other. And one thing that will spur that on in sports, without a doubt, is having a full crowd at full roar supporting you. And if they can get that, it is going to go a long way towards building that chemistry, towards building that electricity, towards getting themselves set up, comfortable, and feeling it before they head on over to Qatar. There are 3 matches remaining between now and the World Cup. On June 5th, we take on Uruguay, probably the toughest challenge we have remaining as a friendly. Then there are 2 CONCACAF Nations League games. On Friday, June 10th, we take on Grenada. And on Tuesday, June 14th, we take on El Salvador. Those are both CONCACAF Nations League games. There are trophies attached to that. So I hope that on June 5th, when we take on Uruguay, that we have a full stadium, that it is full throat, that it is a loud crowd, so that these guys can start to be settled, to be comfortable. It's what we need. But last night they looked as good as they've looked in a while. They had identity. They had purpose. The passing was good. The defense was out of position a few times, but nothing that can't be cleaned up. I was pleasantly surprised with what the Americans did last night, and I hope that they keep it up. I really do. Let's take a break. When we come back, it's Thursday, and you know what that means. Time for Fight Club. Lonzo guides us through the world of boxing, mixed martial arts, and professional wrestling. We hit that when we come back on the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate.
Seeing something on Facebook.
On Facebook?
Yes. It's relevant to what we're about to talk about. I messaged you.
I see it. I'm watching it.
Couldn't listen to the sound, obviously.
So MJF just kept going bananas in ring.
Oh, keep watching.
They send out Punk. And MJF bails into the crowd and leaves the scarf. It's a work, but a really good one.
But also, is this setting up the only person to really take it from him? And the person, well, I'll save it. But
and I'm here for it.
He had a winning percentage of .640 at first. He made the baseball regionals, made the postseason 4 times in 7 years. 1 year, the COVID year, they had to cancel their season. So 4 times in 6 years, he had a successful run. I have no issue with Clemson having standards, with Graham Neff, the new AD, having standards. He says Clemson's a top 15 job. The top 16 teams that are hosting a regional have a combined winning percentage of .709. Clemson under Monty Lee was .640. That's not good enough. What I do not understand is how what Brad Brownell has done on the basketball side is good enough for Clemson. When Monty Lee has been better than Brad Brownell.
why did you think I turned it up?
I'm Mark Ryan.
Offsides with Mark Ryan, local unfiltered sports talk. This afternoon 3 to 7 on the Fan Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville, 87.1 FM Spartanburg, and on the Odyssey app.
Hey, it's Rob Brown. Listen, if you are into the real estate market right now, you have heard that it is a seller's market. And with real estate appreciation in double digits and inventory at historic lows, that is really, really good news if you're looking to sell a home. But most sellers...
Down from where we go to the beach, there is there's an actual arcade, a stand-up arcade.
Nice.
It's on a corner, and they have doors open on either side where you can walk in. On the second floor, they have a ton of old cabinets, but you're taking a risk putting a quarter in there because it might work or it might not. And you might be doing really well, and then suddenly you get that screen that kind of looks like the end of a movie or something. And still, it's kind of cool. A couple years ago, one of the few times that I was not on Upstate Pulse, I actually called in from the arcade and did a segment.
Nice.
There, so, which would have been so much better with StreamYard and everything because I could have actually went live on my phone and walked around. Still, I wish I could swim well enough to surf. I've always wanted to surf.
You know, I grew up on the beach and never surfed. Granted, our waves are never big. Like for surfing in Fort Walton is like riding a scooter and calling it a motorcycle. Like, okay, technically, but like not really.
I'm trying to figure out where my fascination with surfing came from. Might have been
Point
the
Break.
no, this was way before that. Might have been the Brady Bunch episode when they went to Hawaii.
Okay.
If you don't, I mean, you know, Brady
No,
Bunch.
I-
Brady
I'm
Bunch pretty
aware.
big for me because you know I was a little kid around the same age as Bobby and Cindy when it first started. So I think that episode actually had Vincent Price in it. You may not know who Vincent Price is.
The name's super familiar.
He was in Thriller.
Okay.
The voice in Thriller. He also did a ton of old movies. They're really campy horror movies, like The Raven, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. Because
He has 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, one for motion pictures and one for TV.
way before video games, in the movie The Raven, he's going up against Peter Lorre,
Okay.
and they're both magicians, and they're sitting across from each other on a long table, and they're basically playing each other at a video game with magic up above their head. And the effects for the time was really, really cool.
He was in the original The Fly.
Which, for its time, the effects on that were really good too. I think Bill Hader has played him some on Saturday Night Live too. Taco Bell. You know, normally at this time,
What in the...
I come with a lot of energy and you know, talk about slapping someone or hitting someone, but I just want to take this time to thank AEW from the bottom of my heart for putting the belt, the championship, on such a mid as CM Punk, because this means his time with us will be over soon. We're finally he's going to go away. Maybe for another 6 years, come back when like he's 65 or something with his beard. And I know I want to talk because I got the pepper beard going on, but I am old. He looks like a grandpa in there. Looks almost as old as Ric Flair does, nearly. But I would like to thank them for putting the belt on this, because it's not a championship. You know, I need to take it back. It's a belt when he wears it. It's a championship when an actual AEW wrestler wins the championship. And let's transition into an actual AEW wrestler who put on probably the best promo, one of the best promos in the history of professional wrestling last night. And that would be one MJF. And even though Rob Brown can discount whatever I say about CM Punk, he cannot discount the things I say about MJF because he cosplayed him at AEW when we went to see them in Columbia. He dropped, and people on the stream, I believe Keegan mentioned this, he dropped a couple of WWE references in the middle of a promo that, to my recollection, I don't think they've ever said, even when Cody was breaking the throne and everything. Do you remember them ever actually saying WWE on AEW?
They would always say like other places to work and other companies, and you knew who they were talking about, but never the name drop.
This thing,
But I gotta think they have been saving it for a moment like this.
you think so?
Yeah.
I got to say, I didn't watch it last night because I was watching the match. I was watching AEW this morning, and I am yelling at the screen. And just because it was such a good promo. It really was. And unlike that lame pipe bomb that was put on by someone years ago, which was completely scripted, in AEW, they don't do that. They don't script their promos like they do in WWE, like what the Mid did several years ago before he quit and went home and then tried MMA and got his face beaten in. But so MJF did this, and when we had Tony Schiavone on this program, he said there are some times when they have to dial MJF back. He told us a story when he had to go back and go, "What are you thinking?" Talking to MJF. So Tony Schiavone, MJF's Jiminy Cricket, I guess, his conscience, such that it is, was nowhere to be seen last night, though, when he put on that promo. And what sold the promo the best was at the end when he went on the cursing tirade, which, I don't do. But the effectiveness of them cutting the mic at that point, that would have made the supposed pipe bomb that the Mid put on a few years ago more effective if they would cut it off, but it proved that was written. Unlike MJF, who is a natural talent, can come out there and just off the top of his head do that. And this might seem sacrilegious to some wrestling fans. I think he rivals Flair in his heyday as far as his promos go. I think he actually does. Also mentioning Japan, mentioning all you people said I couldn't wrestle and I showed that I could. There are so many things in that promo. And then I just sent Rob a video that someone had filmed from the crowd that happened during a commercial break, which they didn't show. He still was out there, and then they sent CM Punk out to the ring, and MJF just went off into the crowd. So the thing that I want, the thing that I wish for, and yes, he is a heel, and I'm not normally a heel guy, MJF needs to be the next champion for AEW. I get people like the Millennial Cowboy, but he couldn't carry the company. He absolutely could not as a champ. He was definitely no Kenny Omega. He was definitely no John Moxley. He was no Chris Jericho. You need somebody with this kind of charisma. MJF should be your next champion. And then he should be dethroned by Wardlow. Fantasy booking right here, ladies and gentlemen. Anything to get the Mid out of there. And something else? Thank you, AEW, for bringing him out with the other two people I can't stand, FTR. So it's just like automatically I can skip past this whole segment. You got all the people I don't like in one segment. Let me get on past that and move on to the real star of AEW, one Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
You said a lot of things there. Most of them wrong, but that's okay. I'm here to help. Couple things.
I am the heel of this story.
Number one, the biggest pop. We asked Tony Schiavone about the biggest pops he's ever experienced. Punk was one of them. He said Chicago, Punk's return was the loudest pop he can remember without going back to like the original Nature
I guarantee you, when you go back to Destin, the pop is amazing.
Oh, it is. But it ain't Punk in Chicago.
Just like when I go back to Columbus.
Now,
I mean, that thing lasts a while.
Now, let's continue. Punk of Mid-Carter. I'm not even going to waste my breath. All right? You know better. You just need a way to hate.
You're right. I'm right and you can't.
So hate
can't
on.
Go against it. Go ahead.
Number two. Summer of Punk is here. You don't have to like it. You do have to accept it. Number three. We talked about Hangman yesterday.
He's not making it to summer.
I don't know. We talked about Hangman yesterday, and I came to the realization that Hangman is a character that you either are way over for or you don't connect with, right? Because Hangman plays into the millennial portion of the Millennial Cowboy. When we saw the show in Columbia, Hangman made a very cool entrance into the arena. How? In an all-electric vehicle with longhorns strapped to the front, a la JBL, but less of a terrible person.
I think he's meh. That's the problem. I mean, as far as CM Punk goes, I mean, he's over because people think it's cool to put him over.
Here's Lonzo. If I don't like it, you're only doing it because it's popular.
Well,
Definitely not because you might actually like it.
A lot of people have that outlook in life. Doesn't mean they're
No,
wrong.
I know, but none of them are on the radio with me, right?
That's true.
You are. People don't like punk because it's the cool thing to do. They like punk because they like punk. You not liking a thing doesn't mean other people don't genuinely like
The fact
thing.
that he came out and said he sucked last night on the air. I know I got a lot of things to learn with a smirk on his face. Like, I know I'm not that good, but you, Marks, are so stupid that you're going to root for me. That's why I'm the champion.
Lonzo, can you be a better producer? And I'm asking that as a genuine question. Are there things that you could do better? On the Upstate Pulse, are there things you could do better?
Yeah, but that's different because I'm a host there. You changed it. You know why you changed it? You know why you changed it? You started with producer.
We win awards here.
Yeah, and not just here. I win awards everywhere. Do you know who I am, Rob?
You are the host of the Upstate Pulse.
I am.
Could you be better at it?
Some days.
You suck.
Some days.
You suck.
That's fine.
That's what you just said.
By the way,
right?
I do see that on the text line on occasion.
Yeah, me too. I see it like 3 times a day on the text line. Neither of what you just said logically holds water. Neither of them makes sense. Saying I can do a thing better doesn't mean I'm bad at the thing that I do. Deion Sanders could have been a faster DB. Didn't mean he sucked as a DB. The millennial cowboy thing absolutely works if you're a millennial, because he's representing millennials. He spoke to millennials. The things he said, the things he represented. For instance, one thing he did that I genuinely appreciated, let's get the text line lit up here, when he won the title, if you did not notice, the jacket and pants that he came out with were adorned with the colors of the trans flag. He did that a number of times. It's not like he blew it up and put it up in your face, but people who appreciated that more.
So this is where Rob makes it look like I'm anti him to make it look like I'm anti other things.
No, what I'm saying is.
I never said I didn't like him. I just said he's kind of boring.
No, I didn't. What I said was, if that matters to you enough that you want it elevated into sports, right? Because a lot of people keep your stuff out of my sports. If it matters enough to you that you're fine with it being elevated into sports, he did it in a way that you go, I appreciate him speaking out. And if you don't, he didn't do it in a way that it was like the most powerful thing that he did, right? Now, so for me, Hangman was a great champ. He absolutely can carry the company. Is he the most charismatic guy on the mic? No. But not every champ needs to be the best talker in the company. Sometimes you can have a really entertaining wrestler, and Hangman Page was that for me. Now, to MJF, because you're wrong about Punk, you're wrong about Hangman. To MJF, that promo is going to go down with, "It's hard times out here, Daddy." It's going to go down with the pipe bomb. It's going to go down with DB taking over the ring leading up to WrestleMania 30 with the Yes movement. All the great, and this is going to be at the top of that list. All right. This is going to go up there with limousine riding, jet flying. This is going to go down there with Austin 316 says, "I just beat your ass." It's going to go down with all of the greatest wrestling promos of all time. And the reason that they did this so well, right? I have told you many, many times, the reason I have transitioned from a predominantly WWE guy to a predominantly AEW guy is because it's more real. Even with guys like Luchasaurus running around, it's still more real. And I think what happened,
Correct me if I'm wrong, Rob, but dinosaurs were real.
Dinosaurs were real. I mean, he's clearly from the La Brea tar pit. I respect that.
You can tell. His tongue is green and everything.
So with this, you know, the big dirt, for those of you that either weren't wrestling or weren't paying attention on this weekend, was that he did not show up to a fan meet, like $100 a ticket fan meet and greet before the pay-per-view this weekend. And then it started into, he's got a plane ticket booked out of Vegas before the pay-per-view, and everybody started freaking out about it. Except for, he wasn't the only one who didn't show up to the meet and greet. Samoa Joe also did not show up to the meet and greet. And if I recall correctly, Dustin Rhodes did not show up to the same meet and greet. But because there was already this organic, not created by AEW story going on in the back channels about him being unhappy with his contract, which, by the way, I would be fine if he is. MJF is the best guy on that roster, both not as a wrestler, like a in-the-ring wrestler, but as a guy, as a character, he's the best guy on the roster. And there are guys getting paid lots more money than him.
Yeah,
Punk, Omega, Hangman, all these guys making more money than
all
MJF.
the guys you mentioned. You're not mentioning all the WWE, as he mentioned, all
And
the
former
WWE
guys.
people who are coming in and
are
getting more
making
money.
than him.
Right.
So he has a justifiable, understandable complaint. Do I think that means he's quitting? No. I think he just missed the meet and greet for whatever reason. They're in Vegas. He could have gotten a car accident. He could have overslept. Who the hell knows what happens, right? I've interviewed a bunch of wrestlers who have overslept the interview. It happened to me 3 weeks ago with a very famous one who did such a bad interview I couldn't run it, right? It happens. Now, I think he missed it, and I think he and Tony together were smart enough to go, okay, we got all this heat going on in the dirt sheets about you being unhappy with the contract. You missed the meet and greet. No worries about that, but we can turn this into an angle, and then you ended up. But at the end of the day, even if all of that lined up for you perfectly to tell a great story, to come out, grab the mic, and deliver that promo with that emotion in that moment, and then for AEW, and by the way, they got to hold up their end too. For them to cut his mic at the perfect time, right? Because if they wanted to cut his mic, they'd have cut it well before he dropped an F-bomb on cable television. For them to cut his mic, for them to immediately go to commercial, right? They didn't like watch him march around the ring mad. WWE's done that before where the guy who gets his mic cut, like, they stick with him on camera. No, they just, and no outro, no Tony Schiavone going, we'll be back right after that. They just immediately cut the TV feed. And then they never mentioned it again the rest of the show. They never said MJF. They never said he did this. They never apologized.
By the way,
for
as
it.
far
They
as
did
we
none
know,
of that.
as far as we know, because you and I, neither one of us have seen the entire thing.
Right.
So they could have, because if you're, I don't want anyone to bring it up in case it is, but more than likely they don't mention it the rest of the show.
I am 75% of the way through that show. They have not done it yet, right? They did not apologize for it. They did not reference it. They didn't say his name. They did nothing. They cut away as if it was 100% unacceptable and they wanted to pretend it didn't happen. Then, while they were at break, they sent out Punk to chase off MJF. Here's the thing. Punk came out limping. He was in a hell of a fight the other night, right? MJF busted up with his fight with Wardlow. Cool. Do you think in that spot, MJF doesn't go punch CM Punk? Doesn't scrap with him instead of running away? They knew there's got to be people with every, you can, if you do something, it used to be in wrestling shows, if you did something during commercials, that was a dark event, right? It was a dark match. It was a dark speech, whatever. But now, especially with what's going on with MJF, they know that the moment that Punk comes out and MJF is gone, people are live streaming that to the internet. They're taking that video and posting it on social. It's going viral, and it did. It is being played so spectacularly well. The AEW will still occasionally go into some gimmicky wrestling, and I'm great with it. Gimmick wrestling can still be great. But when they hit on a real-life storyline that they can work into something, it's done as well as anybody's ever done it.
All right. I do have a major disappointment with the thing. There's one major flaw in the entire promo, the entire presentation, and it's that it didn't happen in Colombia when we were there live.
Oh, I'd have lost my mind. Are you kidding me? I would have lost my mind. That promo was as good. Again, it's going up there with Flair's limousine riding Jeff Lyon. It's going up there with Dusty Rhodes' Hard Times. It's going up there with Say Your Prayers and Eat Your Vitamins. It's going up there with Cream of the Crop. Like, it's going up there with Stone Cold 316 Says. It's going up there with every great promo. This will be mentioned in that same breath. It may take a couple of years for other people to recognize it. It may take a few years before exclusively WWE people will recognize it, but that is going to go down as a career-making promo for that guy.
Because you know Vince is watching that going, man, I got to get this guy. I got to get this guy.
Whatever Vince wants to pay MJF, Tony is going to match it because he is the number one draw in that company, even as a heel. Let's be real. When we went to Colombia and we watched that match, what did you see more of than anything else?
The MJF scarf.
The MJF scarf.
He said in the promo that he's the number 2 draw. Who's the number 1 draw? I need to look that up because is it Jericho? I mean, who's the number
I bet
1
it's
draw?
Jericho, but I almost wonder if he wasn't smartastically referring to Punk there, right?
He could have been. I do need to look at. All right, we don't have time for anything else other than this.
Seth says Ricky Stark should be a star. Completely agree.
I love Ricky Stark.
Agree.
No, like he's good on the mic and he's good in the ring.
Just like CM Punk.
Some of the stuff he dresses is way too preppy. It's so annoying, which is what he's trying to do. All right, so one last thing. Butterbean has challenged Jake Paul to a fight. Would you pay? No,
yes.
we both have said
Yes.
we won't pay for this stuff. I would pay to see Butterbean whoop Jake Paul's butt. Now, supposedly Butterbean has gotten in better shape. We don't know what that means.
Did you see when Butterbean almost killed Johnny Knoxville, right? He will do that to Jake Paul. Butterbean is big, he's fat, he's out of shape, whatever, and packs as much power as anybody in his age and his stand. I would pay for that because here's the other thing. Butterbean is freaking nuts. And if Jake comes to him and goes, hey, dude, a mil for this fight, but you can't knock me out because he did that with Floyd and everybody else he's fought. If he goes 5 for the fight, but you can't knock me out, Butterbean goes, nah, royalties. I'm an NFT worth 5 mil tomorrow. If I put you out, Butterbean will knock his ass out.
Yeah, but he won't do it. He'll agree that he won't, and then knock him out. Which is
even better because then Logan does it. He's not expecting.
It's Jake.
Whichever one. I forgot. I don't care.
I know it's the same.
They can both go
and then
away.
he can blame them for running into his fist.
He's not looking for the right hand Butterbean go to sleep punch, and he eats one, spits some chiclets out on the canvas, and calls it nighty night. Are you kidding me? I'd pay $100 to watch that.
By the way, CM Punk is mid.
He's like a year younger than Bobby Lashley. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show with the Fan Upstate.
And he's leaving the room. Why? Because I'm right. That's why. Oh, why did I do that to myself?
At the United States Postal Service. We're going to get into that next year on CBS Sports Radio after we get a CBS Sports Radio update. It's easy to make all money. Figures are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Different how? You sell high commission investment products, right? Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products. Well, you must earn commissions on trades. Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. How do you know what's in their best interest? We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs. But you
Wow, Rob's been gone a really long time.
Somebody just rode up on a scooter, and an off-cam production guy just ran over and gave him a microphone.
It's Han, or is Bart? It's Bart.
Oh, yeah, Bart Scott. Okay. Yeah. He just rolled up on a scooter in a t-shirt and shorts, and a production member just ran over and handed him a mic. That's awesome.
I don't know what's in the backpack, but, you know.
That's amazing.
I think he's a Riddle fan. Stephen A. is rolling his eyes, so. All right, time for Twitter trending topics, where I try to calm Rob down by telling him what is trending on the wonderful internets. All right.
Dexter said Butterbean will treat Jake Paul like he did Bart Gunn. Good reference, Dexter.
All right, the first thing that's trending is LeBron James.
I don't know if this is why he is trending, but somebody tweeted a few minutes ago that LeBron was just named to the Forbes billionaire list, which does not shock me. I mean, aside from getting a redonk amount of money over the course of his basketball career, the dude has his hands in everything. He's in media, he's in art, he's in NFTs.
He's got movies, he's got game shows.
He's starring in and producing and making movies. He's got video. Yeah, that's right. I mean, he's got his hands in literally everything. LeBron could spend a huge amount of money every day and still walk out net positive every day.
All right, so according to everything I'm seeing, which means it's got to be true, LeBron is the first active billionaire as a player. I mean, we've had other players like Jordan, you know, who's a billionaire, but LeBron, according to the internet, according to Twitter, which means it's got to be true, is the first active billionaire.
I believe it. He's 30. I mean, first off, he's 37. The overwhelming majority of athletes in any sport don't make it to 37. Like, even golfers at 37 are well on their way to the senior tour at that point.
He also had the advantage of starting in the NBA out of high school.
Correct.
So, I mean, he got money pretty early.
Not only starting out of high school, but getting a fat contract doing it, right? Like, Nike had this dude sign to by the way, I don't know if you've ever heard this story. When LeBron got started, he got offered, I want to say it was either Adidas or Reebok. I want to say it was Reebok. Offered him $10 million before he left high school, right? Offered him 10 mil, but with exclusive rights. So if you sign with us, we'll give you 10 mil and we'll give you shoe contracts moving forward, but you can never sign with Nike or Adidas or anybody else. And he turned it down because he said, I'm gonna be worth more than that. Kids, I'm gonna go ahead and tell all of you right now, all of you, every one of you kids, and yes, parents, tell your kids this, because I'm sure your kid's awesome. If anybody ever tells your kid, I will give you $10 million to be exclusive to my company for the rest of their life, you tell them to sign that damn check, because LeBron's the only one that we knew was going to have the talent to do that, and justify turning down 10 mil. If you were in high school and anybody says 10 mil, but you can only eat my burgers, wear my shoes, see my movies, listen to my music, you sign the hell out of that contract before they turn around.
All right, time for one more really quick. Darth Vader is trending.
So I watched episode 3 of Obi-Wan yesterday. Darth is a pretty prominent player, and it's finally badass Darth Vader. I'm here for it. He is ruthless, Lonzo. He's ruthless, and I love it. It's comic book Darth Vader, Lonzo. We finally get to see it.
Yeah, without spoiling, it's just yeah.
It's incredible. The Vader we saw at the end of Rogue One with that badass lightsaber in the fog and the smoke, and we're like, we got like that 30-second fight scene. That's the Vader we get. It's amazing. Go watch it. That's it for us. Jim Rome's up next. Mark Ryan and Diesel after that. Y'all have a great rest of your day. We're back tomorrow to do it all over again on The Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. Thanks for watching stream. Go watch Obi-Wan. It's fantastic.